Welcome to the Ben Stortini Show, where stories drift between worlds and forgotten moments find new life. Let's begin our journey. Let's go. And welcome to the Ben Stortini Show. I'm your host, Ben Stortini, but you can just call me Ben. So I'm recording this before I go to France. So I'm leaving in France in about 2 weeks. So I'm going to record a couple of episodes so that they're locked, loaded like Rambo back in the 80s. So today there was big news. So you'll be able to date this, but this is my take. The Raptors and Masai Ujiri. I got to get this out here. I know this isn't a basketball podcast, but the Raptors and Masai Ujiri just parted ways, and he will not be coming back as team president, GM, basically, the face of the franchise, non-player wise. This is an end of an era, man. I want to make this quick. My take on this: Masai Ujiri is one of the greatest, most influential voices in basketball there has been in generations. This guy right here he will go down in history as one of the greatest executives in basketball history. I want to give him one of the biggest salutes. He deserves all the accolades he'll get. He's special, man. He's one of a kind. And what he did for this city, what he did for this country, what he's doing outside of this country in Africa, what he's doing just for basketball in general and life. This guy is something for kids to look up to. You know, he came from nothing and he made it, and he did what he did, and he's done what he's done. And big salute to you. Thank you for everything you did for the Toronto Raptors. Man, you brought us a championship. Why don't you go do it for the Leafs? So I ended at that. So I thought, you know what? Let me throw out a basketball story. As some of you may know, I'm a big basketball guy. I grew up playing basketball. I love basketball. I played it my whole life. It never leaves you, like riding a bike. I owe a lot to basketball. And it's funny. I remember basically when I started taking basketball serious, it was on the island, and I had a neighbor, the Prodens. And they had this beautiful basketball court. They had this nice concrete slab in front of their house, right on the water, man. It overlooked the water, and they had the one rim put up. And I used to go over there. I was baseball, tennis, and basketball. I played all sports, but those three right there, I was getting pretty good at. I was, 11, 12, reaching that age. And I was getting pretty good at all of those sports. And so I was so cocky. I was like living in the middle of nowhere on an island. I'm like, all right, Ben, you got to choose a sport if you're going to go pro. And I chose basketball. And my neighbor, Mark Proden was his name. He was about 4 years older than me or something like that. But he was a good basketball player. He had that basketball court out in front of his house. So I used to go over there. They said, anytime you want to come play, just come play. So I used to go play with him. And, man, he never took it easy on me. He used to play all the time. He was just coaching me up, man. He was teaching me how to, rebound, how to keep my head, like all the little things, all the nuances of basketball, the basketball IQ. That's the thing, Some say you can't teach IQ, but you kind of can. You can't teach heart, but you can teach the IQ part. The little things. And he was giving me all the little things, but he wasn't soft on me. Like, he would beat on me. If we played a game to 12, when we started, he beat me 11-1, and he had no shame in that. And I would go home and I'd be like, shit, this dude just smacked me 11-1. You know what I mean? But as time was going on, the more we played, if we played to 12, he beat me, 12-6 and then 12-8. I was getting better. I was getting better quickly too. And then finally he used to like put me on the ground. Like, he was, again, not soft on me. And then there was a one day I'll never forget, man. I beat him. But I think it was like 12-10 or something like that. I was real close. And he had to win by 2, right? And I beat him. And I remember he was like, all right, I'm done here. I never played him again. I never played Mark Proden again after that. I beat him, and that was that. He's like, all right, I'm done here. So I just want to give a huge shout out to Mark Proden for that. You know what I mean? Like, he got my confidence up. He got my skill level up. He didn't take it easy on me. And finally, he just said, all right, you're good to go. And my basketball, life, I guess, went on. And, I fell in love with the game, man. So, Mark, thank you for that. you know. And it's funny that it brings up, I don't know, I didn't know what I was going to talk about. These are the episodes that are just going to be kind of random while I'm in France. So as you're listening to this, I'm in France trying to keep Stello and Luna under control over there. So wish me luck. Send out good vibes as you're listening to this. I didn't know what I was going to talk about, so I was like, all right, let me think about some stories that I could throw out there. And, you know, there's no shame in the game of being just out there and, you know, letting your true colors show, right? And, you know, sometimes you make decisions in life that you look back and you're like, ooh, that's awkward. I probably shouldn't have did that. And there was this one time, man, this was before COVID, but it was right before COVID. So this is like 2019, I think, 2018. We were walking through, when I say we, my wife and I and my daughter, we were walking through Costco and we were shopping and we were getting, you know, we went to get some chicken and we left with an entire household of items. Like, it's just Costco, man. It's just crazy. Especially here, like, it's just wild. I'm glad I don't go back there anymore. But anyways, so as we're checking out, this guy comes up to me, this older dude, and he's like, hey, I noticed you, are you a model? I was like, nope, not a model. He's like, you look like a model. Have you ever thought about modeling? I'm like, no, not really. He's just poking at my ego, right? So I'm just like, well, yeah, of course I should be a model. You know what I mean? So he just keeps poking at me. He's like, all right, well, I'm an agent, talent agent from a modeling agency here in the city. You take my card, give me a call. I think we could get some work done with you for sure. I'm like, oh, of course, yeah, for sure. My ego is just like out of this world, right? And so I went home. I'm like, man, this is crazy. Should I do this? And I was talking with some friends and some people, and they're like, yeah, fuck it, go for it. I didn't know where it was going to lead, though. So I called him. I said, yeah, all right, let's do something. And let me tell you where that headed. So I give him a call, and he's like, all right, I'm going to hook up a photo shoot for you. We have to get a portfolio or whatever you call it together to send out to, get you some commercials and get you some work. I'm like, all right, cool. So he sets me up with this photo shoot with this dude on the west side near where I used to live, near Dundas West Station. So around that area, like Symington. So, it's set. I'm going to do this photo shoot. I'm like, all right. He's like, yeah, bring your, cause this was around the time that there was skinny jeans, right? So I was wearing my black nudies and this black tight t-shirt, this, oh my God, blah, blah, blah. So he's like, yeah, wear that stuff. I'm like, okay, cool. He's like, yeah, bring some other t-shirts, da, 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 da. So I'm like, okay, cool. Wasn't really awkward or weird at this point, but it got awkward and weird. So as time went on, all right, this photo shoot is scheduled, and I go. So I go out west. I get my clothes, put them in the truck, and I head out west on the west side to go get this photo shoot done. And I show up, and the dude was cool, but it got super weird super quick. Like, he was legit. He had the whole like the lighting, like his setup was expensive. Like he was a photographer for sure. I don't want to act like he wasn't a photographer, but his requests got weird. So we're taking pictures inside of his loft, and they're whatever. He's like, here, wear this scarf. I'm like, I don't really wear scarves. He's like, just wear this scarf. Do this, do that. He's like, okay. So he gets a few shots done, wearing this t-shirt, looking this way. I'm like, and then he's like, all right, cool. He's like, all right, we're going to go into the stairwell here, the brick stairwell, because it has a nice brick background. I'm like, all right, cool. That sounds good. So we go into the stairwell, and he's like, all right, I'm going to need you to take your shirt off. I'm like, pardon? He's like, I want you to take your shirt off. It's not like I was surprised. I knew that might be coming, but I didn't know how I'd react, and I was kind of hoping it wouldn't come. So I'm like, oh, well, all right, fuck it. So I'm wearing these tight, nudie, fucking skinny jeans, no shirt, in the middle of a fucking hallway with a brick background. And he's like, throw this scarf on. So I'm like, what? So I'm like just kind of going along with it, because again, my ego is just out of this world at this point, right? Of course I'm a model. Of course. He's like, yeah, we can get you some work for Home Depot. Some Canadian Tire work with that beard. Like, this shit's crazy. But he knew what to say to get my ego going, so I'm just going with it, right? Shirt off. Like, this is ridiculous. So the photo shoot ends, right? And it kind of ended weird, just because I was just like, he was cool. I kept the conversation up with him, blah, blah, blah. But it was just kind of like, it seemed a little perverse, right? So I just ended it. I'm like, all right, are we done here? This and that. Okay, cool. So I went home. I felt a little bit strange about what just happened. Like, this dude, I don't know who you are. You have pictures of me now with a scarf on in your hallway without a shirt on, with black jeans on. Like, this shit's crazy. So as time went on, I'm like messaging the dude that at first approached me, who hooked me up with this photographer, and he's asking me now, like, can you send me pictures through the phone? I'm like, huh? I'm like, okay, what's going on here? Like, this, it just, you know, my gut just told me, all right, ego, step aside here for a second. I think we got a hustle going on, or some sort of like weird shit going on right here. So I'm like, no, you're not getting any pictures. I'm not taking any more pictures for you. I was just at your photographer who took pictures of me without my shirt on in a goddamn loft and a blah blah blah. I'm like, where are those pictures? So and so he's telling me, yeah, we're gonna get the pictures, we're gonna get the portfolio together, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, we're gonna get you some blah blah blah. Nothing ever came about this. Literally to this day, I've never seen these pictures. I don't know where they're at. I never got any work. I think this shit was just set up as just some weird, like, let's see how far we can take this vibe. And because my ego was poked at, I kind of went along with it. But I knew, like, 25 minutes in, like, okay, no, this isn't right. This isn't right. This is heading somewhere weird. So I've never seen the pictures. And it's funny that I make fun of my dad for having that Toronto Sun Sunshine Boy picture with the black tank top and the black jeans. I did it. I upped them. I have the black jeans on without the tank top, which is crazy, right? So I've never seen the pictures. I don't want to see the picture. Like, I got a fucking scarf on too. Like, I don't even want to see this shit. I don't know where they are. I don't care. Yeah. So I thought I'd throw that one out there. I thought that one's funny to share with you. Oh yeah, my modeling days, man. My modeling days. Oh, life is funny, isn't it? Yeah, so I'll just end it at that. Maybe we'll talk about a little bit of healthy. You know, it's funny. Yeah, like I said, I'm in France right now. I'm not technically in France right now. I'm recording this, as I said, so that I have podcasts for you while I'm there. But I'm running, man. I'm running. And I'm going to go for a run today. And I'm just hoping that my health keeps up. Like I said, I'm going to keep fighting. I'm going to keep dealing with all of this shit. And, you know, I'm going to get healthy. And I'm going to get better. And I'm going to race in November. And that's the goal. I'll keep you updated on that, see where you're at. But I'm going to start upping my kilometers. I'm going to start upping my speed very slowly. So that I don't get hurt and I don't redo myself. Because it's funny, yesterday for my cardio, I did my bike instead of running. And it's funny, not as much pain. So I really just have to do this more smart. I have to be smarter about this, which I'm going to do. So, yeah, on that note, let's switch worlds and I'll see you on the other side. Bye-bye. I just want to give a shout out to, you know who I'm going to give a shout out to? I'm going to give a shout out to Planet Fitness. You know why I'm going to give a shout out to Planet Fitness? Because this place is a trip. It is a trip. I've been to a lot of gyms, but this place is a trip. I'd say about 75% is half reps. I'd say about, there's some people that just come in there, they just think about how they're gonna vape when they leave, and they don't do a damn thing. It's like, what are you paying a membership for? But there are some people I've met in there already that are good folks, man, like the everyday, just like me. And yeah, I've already made a couple of friends, you know, a couple of people that I talk to and check in with. So big shout out to Planet Fitness, man. It is a trip. It's a definite portal to another dimension. Yeah. Okay, we are back, and this is another edition of the Stortini verse. So what we're going to do this time for the music, I am going to choose, since I'm in France as you're listening to this dude Bigger Ranks. I've mentioned him before. You know, he's part of that whole vibe over there, that whole community that's got this vibe with Blundetto and yada yada. He just put out a new album called Rain Shine. And so I just want to play a little tune off of that album. It has a nice vibe. Yeah, I hope you enjoy it. This is called Villa Aston. Hey. Houston. Est-ce que je peux aller à la salle de bain? Bonjour. See, nice vibe though. Again, rest in peace to Aretha I used to work with. I introduced her to Bigger Rice, and she's like, "Get that white boy reggae shit out of here." Anyways, Bigger Rice. Villa Aston is the song, and the album is called Rain Shine. Look them up. Good vibes, good vibes. The documentary, man. We're going to go to London, England with this one. There's a documentary on Netflix I want you to check out. It's called Grenfell. It is about a housing complex, a big apartment building in West London that I think it was 2016 or somewhere around there. It went up in flames and this whole building went down. I think it was 72 people got killed. And it's all because of the tiling that they used was cheaper. They used the cheapest tiling they could find, which was, it's not even legal in most countries because it's got the tile on the front and the back, but in the inside there's polyethylene or something like some sort of very flammable inside of the tile. So that's what made it just, because usually a fire can be contained. This shit the entire building just went up. And because UK at the time had with their firemen, they have a stay put rule. So if you call in like there's a fire in the building, like, all right, stay put, we're gonna come get you. They didn't know that this was just like gonna be out of control, this fire, and they've changed the rules since, I believe. But anyways, this documentary is incredible. It's called Grenfell. It's on Netflix. Check it out, man. Again, this is about greed. I've mentioned before in documentaries about the Titanic submarine. Like, greed is just a powerful, powerful thing. And we need to really adjust our thinking when it comes to making money in this world. We really do. Because greed kills. It's disgusting. I mean, you get submarines that aren't even safe to go underwater, and people are paying to go on there and not being told what the deal is and dying. You got buildings that their own government is outfitting them just to look better. They only put these tiles on the building just to look better because it's in a bit of an affluent neighborhood, so they just wanted it to not be an eyesore to those people, but ended up killing 72 people in the process. Greed, trying to save a dollar, man. It's just crazy. So yeah, grossed me out, that one. So yeah, the music, Bigger Ranks, the documentary, Grenfell apartment on Netflix, and the challenge. My challenge is this, man. I did this once with my daughter. It was just an ice cold winter day. I remember this, and I was like, you know what? We're gonna go get a bunch of hot coffees, and we are gonna go to Jarvis where they have that like bunch of tents in there. I think there's teepees in that area now. Like there's a whole community down there. But at the time there wasn't the teepees. It was just a bunch of tents and a bunch of homeless people. It was so cold that day. I'll never forget this. Coldest day I think I've ever felt in Toronto. This was a long time ago. And so we got a bunch of coffees, and I said, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go give these coffees to these homeless people. And we jumped in the car, and we went and we handed out hot coffees to these people, and they were very grateful. Some were high as hell. They didn't know what was going on. They were confused, but they took the coffees and they were thankful. nice and blah, blah, blah. So what I want you to do, my challenge to you is stop thinking about yourself and maybe start thinking about others a little bit more. So if you have something to give instead of expecting to get. Just kind of knock that out of your brain. Whenever you're listening to this, knock that out of your brain just for a little bit and think about giving a little bit more. Whether, it doesn't matter, but just give. Think about others a bit more. That's my challenge. Like, stop thinking about yourself so much. I need to do that for sure. Because, my routine in my life is just, it is what it is. I need to step back and think about others more. And so I'm going to do that. I hope you can do that too. Be empathetic to people as much as you can, because that's the only way, we can cure certain diseases in this world, like greed, what I was talking about earlier. How can we change that? Well, we can change that by changing it from the core, the attitude, because there's a lot of people that just know that's just the way the world runs. It's just a greed-filled, planet. And people are just out to get that dollar, and they don't care how they go about it, right? If people die, and that's disgusting. And then people in those tent cities, they just get stomped on and get moved out to, towns. So the eyesores, right? Eyesores. It's disgusting. That building's an eyesore. Do this. These homeless people, they're an eyesore. Move them. Just Band-Aids. That's not how to fix it. That is not how to fix it. We need to change. We need to change our attitude, and we need to change our actions. Yeah, I don't know if that made any sense, but it made sense to me as I was saying it. So I'm gonna end this, man. So yes, the music, Bigger Ranks, documentary, Grenfell, challenge. Stop thinking about yourself and start thinking about others, and let's spread that love around the world. Okay. Again, all right. This is it. This is the end of the episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Anyways, let's get out of here. Enjoy your weekend, or whenever you're listening to this. Enjoy your day, and I love you all. Thank you for listening to this episode. It means a lot, as I always tell you. I wasn't going to start saying please hit subscribe and hit the 5-star review, but I am going to ask you to do that. And the reason I'm asking you to do that is because when you do that, the algorithm picks up on that, and it starts spreading this love to other ears that may want to hear this. So please, do what you do, and do it now. Enjoy the rest of your day, your weekend, and whenever we speak again, I need to rewrite that shit. Don't forget. I love you.